To access all full body language videos, breakdowns and analysis, alongside the game that I can't feature here on YouTube, check out the Patreon, the link is in the description. Thanks.
Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Yo, I'm gonna put you on some serious game, yeah? Yes! Listen! You need to be in a position where leaving her is a benefit to your life. Yes? That sounds crazy, doesn't it? To the normal person. Let me put you on game, yeah? You need to be in position where leaving her is a benefit to your life. The moment she is such an incredible benefit to you that you can't leave her, she's going to perceive you as lesser. You always need to be able to walk out. There's a power dynamic in relationships. If you don't believe that, you're naive and you're an idiot. And that power needs to be in your hands as the man, because you need control and you need to show leadership that she's attracted to. She'll say, oh no, man, it's all about equality, man. Oh no, I'm a boss bitch, man. I need to be blah, blah, blah. Bruh, her biology says otherwise, right? We have two different brains. And we are equal in the sense that the feminine is as powerful as the masculine and the vice versa. Yes. Yes. We need each other, but leaving her will be a benefit to you because you can continue elevating in your masculine purpose and identity. Most men can't leave women because they rely on her for something or other. At the very least, it's love. I can't do without her. Right. If I can't do without the paycheck coming into my bank, I'm in submittance to the corporate entity that controls my life and says, nope, we're not allowing you to take a holiday with your children because you need to be making money for us. You can have your 2% cut off of every 100% you make for the business. And they'll say that to your missus as well, right? When you need to make it work, you become desperate. Go find anyone on planet Earth who thinks being desperate is a good thing. Right? I'm desperate for this job. Can I have this job? I'm desperate. Ick. I don't need the job because I know my benefit, my value, and what I can provide. And I say it with such audacity because I know it's the truth. So you can say no to me right now and it'll be better for me because I can continue working on me. I can continue in developing me. I'm not desperate. Is she making all of the money? If so, you need to sort your game out, my man. Is she cooking you great food? I'm speaking in the realms of me. I love a good cook. I can't cook. But now I'm eating so much. And when I try to fast, she gets worried because she does not perceive the health benefits of fasting. So she says, oh, no. And she gives me resistance. And she wants to look after me. And I'm talking a good relationship, a submissive woman in a relationship looking after me because she feels she wants to because of the way I treat her in response. Oh, I need to give you something. Oh, your stomach's rumbling. What you on about semen retention? You're not retaining no semen if you've got a missus you're interested in. Some do. In the realms of some secret societies, they engage in intercourse but don't do it. But you have a go at doing that, yeah? And you will find that your missus wants to hang on for dear life. No. You're not getting away. You're hurting me by not finishing, which I guess could be potentially in your benefit, but it's going to create a drive for her to shit test you via the method of actually making you ejaculate, effectively making you a weaker man. It's of your benefit to leave, and it should be that situation, and that should be the position you're in, and that's going to ensure she looks after you well because she knows you can, if not actually actively want to. Because imagine the time I could invest in my business Imagine the growth and development I would be able to attain given I didn't have to invest my time as a duality instead of a unity of self. The masculine by itself is all flipping switches on 100 in the masculine realm. The masculine, when conjoined with the femininity, is diminished to 75% if you allow it to be of such high standards. Some men just become weak because that's that woman's imperative. When you get in that relationship, she's going to continue testing you to ensure that you are the man she wants to be with, because there are other suitors who can provide more than you and do a better job than you. So she's going to say 3 months into that relationship, oh, can you go and do that for me? And she's going to see how you react, and you can either do it or you don't do it. And if you go and do it, and that was a test to see if you go out of your way as opposed to, you know, potentially playing it off a little bit smoother, you've lost a little touch of what you once were. And she'll continue breaking you down. Now you've done it once, you'll do it again. I remember when I used to smoke bud, yeah? It was all cushy. Smoking with my friends. They'd always roll a zoot. The moment you start rolling and showcase the fact that you can roll, now they know you can roll and they start expecting you to do it every once in a while at the very least. You see how it starts getting pushed, the boundaries start getting pushed. You always need to be in a position where you can leave and have it be a benefit to you all around the board, right? All across the board. I might not have children, so I can't speak from a position where staying together with the woman is a question of the child's upbringing and quality of life, right? I'm not in the world of speaking about that because I do not understand that. That becomes political and that becomes a different question. That's for a different channel to discuss. But I've just put you on some games, so click like and subscribe on that one. I'm signing out. Peace. Everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Alright people, we're talking game today, yeah? We're talking relationships, romance, attraction. You, my brother, need to always have something new to say. You have to have such a depth of knowledge and understanding of the world, of people, of science, of music, of the arts. You need to continue delving in and learning more and more and more and more and more, so you always have something new to say, so you always surprise her, so you can always have consistent, brilliant conversation. That woman loves conversation. These women talk more than these men. They love to talk. They love to engage. You can do if you fly on the dance floor. But generally speaking, you can't get in a woman's knickers without saying a few words to her. And those words need to be a stimulation of her imagination. Right? The man who goes to that woman and says, and drops some good game about something worth value and informs and educates her from the pedestalized position of a teacher as opposed to an equal, places her in infantile position, yes, places her in the feminine position in relation to your masculine position, the dominant and the submissive. She is going to have a drive towards you that is unsparked when comparative to her boyfriend at the time, who has got nothing new to say. He just plays video games and watches TV. If anything, he's got something to say about the new episode of Game of Thrones. Yeah, something that he's not created, something that he's not garnered any beneficial information from, nothing he's making money from, other than the fact he's using it and utilizing it as an escape from the real world, the world of entertainment, the world of reality. When you come forth in the language of realism, yes, shout out to Sinful the P, the language of realism, the rhetoric and the communication that is of an escalated presence and vibration in comparison to your general person who's just like, oh my god, did you see the reality TV show last night? Let's talk about other people. She's going to think, well, this is somebody with value. Now, you can't keep going forward and telling her the same fact about the music industry. You can't keep going back and telling her about the same facts you've heard on the same podcast by the same boring idiot all the time, because she's going to start to think, wait a minute, you're a one-trick pony. But as you get in a relationship with someone and she finds your depth of character, she's going to start trying to push the boundary, because it's her job as a woman to ensure that her man is always in check and productive and moving, because otherwise she's going to get bored and find the next person, right? You hear this. Oh, women get bored. Oh, women blah, blah, blah. Yes, they do. But that's in your benefit. That's in your benefit, because she as a woman wants a masculine man, and that masculine man needs to continue growing. Yes? Because if we don't continue growing, we're going to fucking die. Long story short. So, no, darling, let me cook tonight. I'm learning how to cook. Boom, we're moving. That's sexy, that's attractive. You might not do a great job, but you can have a laugh at it, you can engage with it. Have you seen that? By default, we're doing something new. We're creating a whole new different world of conversation in a different field. Oh, you know what? I don't think that fabric softener is that good. I've been learning about the chemicals utilised in that, but don't worry about it. I've got this new stuff here. Do you want to give this a try? Oh wow, he's thoughtful. Oh wow, he's aiding in the benefit of our life. Oh my gosh, he's creating conversation outside of the world of flipping what he's done for work and his video games. Have you seen how dumb and simple that is? Let alone if the information you are garnering is that of actual resourceful benefit. Oh, darling, I'm thinking of going into this business. I've already taken action in this business. It's not about thinking, is it? Do you know how many people come about just like, oh, I've been thinking about doing this, thinking about, shut the fuck up! You've been telling me for a decade that you've been thinking about this, that, and the thing. You never do it! I can see it in your body. You can't look after yourself. How can you look after a business? Oh, I've been thinking about doing this. Well, how about you think about taking action and then take action? That's the only thing that matters, right? She comes to you and says, wow, you're so smart. Oh, blah, blah. Oh my God, you've always got something new to say. Oh my God, I don't think I'll ever understand you. And the moment she genuinely tells you that she'll never understand you and she still doesn't understand you, you're in a fantastic position. Because we need to stimulate that woman's imagination. Because when she thinks about us, tries to work us out, how close to that, if not is that, love? I can't get him off of my mind. I can't get him out of my mind. That's what Kylie Minogue said. Can't get you out of my mind. Da, 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 da. Yes. And that's where you delve into the realm, which we're not going to speak of. Hey, if you hurt her feelings, who gives a fuck? Because she keeps thinking about you. Nobody else has spoken to her like that because they daren't. But you say, fuck that. I'm not interested in you. And she might think, oh my God, I can't get him. He stimulates my imagination, even though I hate him, even though he got me emotional and I'm crying and I'm sad. And that's the bad boy effect, you see. You don't pedestalize her, she ends up pedestalizing you because she identifies the value of that man who does not want her because he can do better. I'm putting you on game. You got to click like and subscribe on this one. I'm putting you on game for this. Let me check back this note. What was I saying? I was saying, when you have a new story, every time you appear, you captivate. Otherwise, you get boring and disappear. Bada bing! Bada bing, bada boom! You need a new story every single time. Not by forcing a new story. Oh shit, I need something new to say. No. You live a shit life if you've got nothing new to say. You live a shit life if you're not trying anything new, if you're not developing momentum in a particular field, if you're not busy, if you don't already have a backlog of information through the years of your self-education and understanding and assessments and observations of the world as to which you live in. If you don't have that, bro, you need to change your life. what is it? You turn 25 or something, your brain starts flipping deteriorating because you get comfortable in a job and sit in front of a telly all day. And you stop learning. No! Don't get a qualification. Don't get a flipping education. Go learn some esoteric game for your own understanding that nobody else understands, that nobody else knows. And that is where you're going to monetize that information. You are going to apply that information. You are going to find fascination in a world that nobody else sees. And that is going to create of you a character that is of a cult leader-esque magnificence and enticing pull to her. I'm putting you on game. I'm signing out on that. Click like and subscribe. Peace. Everyday superpower where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Alright. This is a good one. When in a relationship, or even when you're trying to find yourself in a relationship, you must unapologetically, clearly engage with other women. Well, world tells you, nah, you can't do that. Society says, nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. The women will say, oh my God, I love a man who's just so committed to me and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work. They're lying to you. The wool has been pulled over your eyes. If you're somebody of value or somebody of perceived value, which is what your woman wants, your woman doesn't want to be with an idiot. Your woman doesn't want to be with an ugly nobody who nobody acknowledges, who is invisible to the world. Your woman doesn't want that. She doesn't want that. She craves a man who is of value. Of course, it's within her biology. So, it's natural that other women may approach you. Yes? You may have had a few relationships prior to this relationship. And you can respectfully be exclusive, if that's the right term to use. Hey, we don't do cheating over here. I believe in honest men. I believe in honest men who don't cheat. They don't go around no one's backs. Because if you can cheat on your missus who loves you so much, me as your simple friend, you're probably going to do me dirty as well. You see what I mean? So, not only that, but you're guided by the spirit of lust, which is a problematic situation, you know? You need to be honest when she says, who's that? Oh, I had a thing with her back in the day. Blah, blah, blah. I had a friend, yeah? He was lying in bed with his girlfriend. It was his birthday. A girl he had a fling with in the past texted him happy birthday. She goes, who's that? He goes, oh, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Right? He had a thing with her. He felt in order to keep the peace, he couldn't just say it was who it was. This girl, some of them are like flipping the text. If you lie to her and she knows you're lying, if you're bullshitized, she will be a detective and she will work you out and find you out and disrespect you and not respect you. Okay? Full stop. End of conversation in that regards. She found out that this woman who texted him was an ex-fling of his. Now he's perceived as a liar. Now she can't trust him. Now she knows she has a get-out-of-jail-free card to go behind his back with somebody who's just a friend, and on and on and on. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. I've been out and about, been in a relatively long-term relationship compared to some. A woman's come up to me. Oh, you look like, what was it? You look like an actor and all this and that. Coming on strong. I said, oh, yeah. My missus at the time comes back from the bar with a couple of drinks. I said, tell her what you just said. If anything, I emphasise it and blow it up out of proportion. Here you go, love. I am attractive. You best work hard for me because I'm committed to you. I'm not leaving you. I'm respectful to you. I look after you. I provide for you. I protect you. But Don't think there's no chance I can't walk away the moment you go out of your way to disrespect me. You go out of your way to argue with me. You go out of your way to be somebody less than you should do in my presence. This is psychology. Psychology. And as a man, you must not be naive and think that she can't do the same thing. If anything, she gets it 20, 100 million times fold. She's a woman. The men pursue the women, right? Generally. It shouldn't be the case, but in this society, that's what happens. So all these men popping up and all this, that, you don't know about any of them. You don't know about the men who pop up in the DMs. You don't know about the men who make comments to her in the gym. You don't know about these men. But the bottom line is, you're aware of it and you're not hurt by it, and you're so secure in yourself that it doesn't matter, because you know she won't do you wrong, because she knows who you are and she perceives you as somebody who isn't worth losing. Women have got this inbuilt biological impulse that some call competition anxiety, right? There was a scientific study where a bunch of women end up going and getting their hair cut from a hairdresser. And the more beautiful that woman was, the more that hairdresser recommended they had their hair cut shorter and shorter and shorter. Because there's an inbuilt competition anxiety in order to rid of anybody who may be perceived as more beautiful or attractive as me. Because you're taking the potential of me living a better life through the resources of a valuable man out of the market by being so beautiful. Yeah? Call it jealousy. It's a thing. Women will slut shame. They'll talk about, oh, don't slut shame us. Women do it the most. If a woman perceives another woman as a threat, and she knows she slept with one person, she's going to weaponize the hell out of that and make that woman seem like she is of lesser character than her. Yeah? In a dynamic manner. So, when you make it clear and you are honest that, and I say honest, you don't make it up. You should get to a position where all of this comes honestly. Yeah. Don't say that women love you when they don't. Don't say that you got approached, in the supermarket when you're having a cup of coffee and your biscuits when that didn't happen. Because your missus is going to see that you're lying first and foremost, and then like the other guy, not trust you and use that as an excuse to lie to you in mirror image. But she is going to see you of lesser standard because you're not a principled man, because you have to bullshit to your missus, and she's going to think, why are you lying about that? And it's going to produce the opposite effect. She's going to think, you're not cool enough for that to happen. You're not good looking enough for that to happen. You don't have the quality in yourself for that to happen. That's why you lied about it. And so your attempt at being cool has actually backfired, and she now perceives you as lesser than you did before. Lesser than she did before. Whereas if it genuinely did happen, you won't believe it. It don't happen often, but some girl came up to me and complimented me on this shirt earlier, Just say a little bit tongue-in-cheek, have a laugh about it, understand that she's probably going to be a little bit wound up, but you're not going to argue about it. She is a woman who is in pocket, isn't going to argue with you for it. She's going to be like, oh, she didn't, did she? What you want about blah, 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 blah. And you're not going to take the bait and escalate, or should I say, devolve the communication into a low frequency space of anger and miscommunication and aggression. You're not going to do that. That's what we don't do. That we don't engage in those overt emotional arguments no more. We're grown men. Yeah. She's going to understand that you're valued. She's going to understand that she has a valuable man. So it's not a position of, it's kind of mad. Because some people say, oh, cook, and all this and that, oh, blah, 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 blah. I feel like there's an awkward relationship between how we portray this in the other realm. So, a man will be protective of his partner and say, no man can look at you, no man can engage with you, no man can talk to you, blah, 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 right? From a position of insecurity and discomfort. From there comes a position of acceptance. Well, I guess people do that, I just don't want to hear about it. You don't have to blag me about it. I'll accept it. I'll let it happen, blah, blah, blah. And then moving onwards, that man might evolve into a position where he actually enjoys the experience of men appreciating what they can't have, but you have, because it solidifies the idea that you are with somebody of beauty and of value. Somebody said that the only thing that should explain a man's wealth is the woman by his side. Not the material possession, no flashiness, quite simply the woman by his side. So if you're amazed by the woman with me, if you're interested, sexually charged with the woman with me, you try with the woman when I'm not around, maybe instead of perceiving it as a cooked thing and, oh, how can you allow other men to try with your girlfriend and that? How about you just think, yeah, they can look but they can't touch. That's like a unaffordable Rolex. That's an Audemars. Yeah? They can look through the window at it and enjoy the bezel and the glizzle. And they glisten. But they can't afford that. They can't keep up with that. That's already under my possession. And the moment she comes to you and starts gassing you up, saying, oh, so-and-so did this and that, you just say, oh yeah, it's no surprise. I'm a realist. The moment I'm in a relationship with you, I don't cast a bubble on you, blocking out the outside world. Of course people are going to look at you. Of course men are going to talk to you and try it on with you. If anything, I take that as a compliment to me. So, that woman perceives the value in that manner. Because men are more likely to go up and engage with that woman because what have they got to lose as far as a survival mechanism is concerned? And they're more enticed by looks in relation to the woman, who is more enticed by other, particular qualities and external forces. So those men are going to approach more. Those women are going to approach the men less. But the fact that women are approaching you and you're not approaching them is going to speak to her, your partner, that you are a man of value. What more needs to be said, people? What more needs to be said? On that note, I'm signing out. Peace. Everyday superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, human dynamics, everything in between. Alright, let me put you on to something. We're going to get into the mystical and the esoteric and the unseen on this one, but we're going to talk about relationships, we're going to talk about becoming a better man, and we're going to talk about the reality of what is, especially when you become sensitive to the world around you. Yes? Once you open your third eye and you stop digesting shit and you stop jerking off every 2 minutes, and when you learn about the pineal gland and the vibration of life itself. People use the term vibrations. It got cool and abbreviated to vibes. If you didn't know that, that's quite fascinating, right? There is a deeper depth to it. Oh, I don't like the vibe in here. The vibe is short form for vibration, right? That's pop terminology utilized for something that is quite a deep, esoteric, if not literal, scientific component to the life we live. If you want to, people say, oh, high frequency and low frequencies, right? The thing is, you might believe that this is nonsensical pseudoscience. What you want about frequencies and vibrations and stuff like this? Consider it this. Garbage in, garbage out, yeah? That's a engineering term. Talking on a personal experience, went away, had a great time with a beautiful woman, experienced some culture, some higher art, discussed, a deeper level of the symbolic meaning of life through the expression of fantastic artists, explored new cultures, ate fantastic food, had a great time. First and foremost, had a good time, yes? Energizing, creative and fantastic. Now, when I come back after that, after so many days away, and I enter a particular room of people who I knew, let's not say friends because it's not the case, But when you deal with so many people, you have to enter rooms of people you may or may not like. After that experience, I enter a room as to where my first engagement was one of such a disappointing energy, such a disappointing communication. In this disappointing space in relation to the place I've been, relative to the experience I've had, you feel the crash. Listen to this. When you have a great weekend and now you have to go back to work, that's a change of your vibration because you associate and you perceive and you absorb negative vibration at work. And if you feel that way towards work, oh, I've got that Monday feeling, the Monday blues, that's because you enter a space where everybody else is radiating and emitting and consuming that same degree of vibration in that environment. It catches on. It catches on. You do not save the drowning man. If somebody's fucking killing themselves off, all you're going to do is get dragged to your own death by going out of your way to ensure that that person has some degree of, you know, safety under your umbrella. You have to fight your battles because you'll get brought down with the people around you. You think, I want to be more of a man, right? So if you want to be more than a man, more of a man, and more than a man, you want to be a higher entity, and you want to elevate yourself and how you're perceived and how people engage with you and just look at you full stop. Think about this practically. If you go into your city centre and you go shopping for shoes, yeah, and you really like trainers, and this is self-assessment of one's own life, yeah, I like trainers, I like a smart pair of Nikes, and so on and so forth. But I go into the store and who's around me? Kids. My people, in the sense that it's the class I reside in. But the people who are judged and the people who are deemed as less of quality and ignorant and underpaid and all of these negative connotations, they are all residing and existing in this space where I was going to purchase shoes and they're into the same thing, interested in purchasing the same shoes and blah de blah de blah. When I purchased that pair of shoes, I now emit the frequency and the vibration of that which these people share. This is a hard pill to swallow, and I'm not saying it's about how much money you spend on things or brands. If anything, it's the complete opposite. That's not the case. We can spend the same amount of money on a smart pair of shoes in a different shop that associates to a different crowd, that have got more uplifting things to say, that come from a background as to where they might have come from, that working class, impoverished background, and used to buy the trainers, but thought, right, now it's time to grow up a little bit. Now it's time to understand how I'm perceived and portray myself in a way where I'm perceived as something a little bit more, right? And this is a tough pill to swallow because we can be hippy-dippy and say, oh, it's about the content of character, oh, it's about the quality of self and so on and so forth, but you are perceived as you are. People don't walk down the street and look at who you might be or where you're going unless you spark interest. And if you spark interest, you can't blend in with a lower class crowd. Okay? That's not to say class in the sense that there's working class, middle class and upper class in England. It's to say class in regards to how you're portrayed and grouped in as far as being a sheeple or a masculine man worthy of independence. Yeah? You now enter this next shoe shop that's selling Chelsea boots and leather flipping, I don't know, you tell me. I'm not a big boot fan and this and that, but they're selling professional suit wear and smart boots and smart shoes, you know, made of better fabrics, produced with better craftsmanship, So as opposed to being made by some starving Chinese people across the world who are paid for slave labor, yeah, you are now not only collaborating with the other consumers of this product who are of a higher standard of how they're perceived by women. Let's talk about the dating, but it applies to men as well. They're perceived as more valuable by the women, but the actual item radiates of a better vibration because it does not derive from a place of scarcity, more so of a place of abundance, from a professional craftsman who can take all the time in the world to ensure he produces a great product. Okay? When it comes to the eating of food, think about, this isn't an argument for veganism or vegetarian or, this, that, and the third. But if you understand that the animal as to which you're eating prior to its death has been boxed up in this horrific horror show of a condition before its painful demise. And I'm a meat eater, okay, but I'm telling you, if you're taking that energy or what resides in that item and consuming that becomes you. You need to pay attention to what you're consuming, what you're paying attention to, because for that brief moment, that engagement actually creates something more than what we're consciously aware of. What we give attention to grows. Yes? If I am around people who are constantly emitting a negative energy through to the disdain and the gossip and the the self-hate and the bad times, and they're associated with people who are going under bad times and have bad situations, so on and so forth, you end up in this frequency echo chamber that is very hard to get out of. You're stuck in the mud and you need to elevate above and beyond and continue moving up if you want to be perceived and if you want a better quality of life. What more needs to be said? What more needs to be said, right? On that note, I'm signing out. Like and subscribe. Peace. Everyday Superpower, where we talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Let me read a note I've put for this one and we'll riff on it, yeah? Value as always. Hang on until the end so we can soak up this game. I've made a note. I've said the more independent you are, the more self-belief, competence, and lack of commitment you have, the more attractive your bad boy energy will be. Your lack of fear will provoke a lack of care or consolation. That's as a side note. So let me rephrase. Or let me go into it full stop. I've said the more independent you are, first and foremost, as a man you need to be independent to the point where you can self-cater, you can look after yourself, you can feed yourself, you can dress yourself. You don't need mummy no more. You don't need no payments coming from here, there and anywhere, because you can provide and create and garner the resource all by your big self. That woman is going to look at you and think you are Superman, because most men out here aren't doing that. They're relying on someone else. They're going blah, 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 blah. And now I say the more self-belief you have, followed by competence. Self-belief comes from competence. If not, it's delusion. Is there anything wrong with delusion? Not necessarily, because I think there is a degree of faking it till you make it. Oh, I'm going to be the best artist of all time. Oh, I'm going to be the best bricklayer of all time. Oh, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. Now, when you start doing all of this affirmation crap, saying, I am going to be the best bricklayer, I am going to do blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah, yes, you are priming your mind in a positive manner to succeed. But if you don't have the experience or the ticked boxes in order to prove to yourself that you are good at what you do, that you are going where you're going, that you are establishing momentum, that you are creating what you want to create, that you desire to create, if you don't have the proof or the numerics or the direction or the momentum right now, that self-belief isn't going to manifest and be portrayed through the spirit of confidence that I'm talking about. The attractive, magnetic, bad boy persona that will come from a position of self-understanding and lack of care. Because I'm going to go into cancellation. I'm going to go into offending people. I'm going to go into not being everybody's cup of tea because you're not afraid of the consequence of your actions, given you take calculated risks. You're not going out there committing a bloody hate crime, but what you are doing is speaking your mind, even if it goes against the grain, because you know, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? Am I going to get fired from my job? If you're independent enough to garner resources elsewhere, if you are forward thinking enough to have accumulated the financial resource to be safe with or without the job, you're going to move and act and be respected as a man who is more than the next man. Oh, I need her. So she is pedestalized. She knows she's pedestalized because she sees a man who places himself below her, and he can come forward and say, I'm Red Pill, I'm the boss, I'm the man. But that won't be portrayed consistently through your non-verbal communication, and her being a woman is fine-tuned through a survival mechanism to assess your non-verbal communication to ensure you're not a threat. She will see a non-congruence between the words you're saying and the portrayal of self. Wait a minute, there's something up about him. She's not going to theoretically come to a conclusion that the reason why she feels uncertain about you is because your words don't match up to your body language, but her gut feeling, her woman's intuition is going to say, he's a weirdo, there's something up with him, I'm not attracted to him. Whereas the man who has been there, done that, thinks, whether she likes it or loves it or hates it or dislikes it or doesn't care at all, there's plenty more where she's coming from. I don't care about her opinion. I know what I've got behind me. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. Not through delusion, but through competence of action, through self-development to a degree where I have accumulated tangible resources in a way that has only derived from my own brain power and intellect and hard work and ambition. She's not done that. She's not worked to that degree. She's not educated herself to that degree. She's not made the sacrifices I have. She is in feminine position. I am in masculine position. She's going to be attracted to me compared to the person who is portraying a character. Yes? Yes? Does this make sense? Does this make sense? This is why you need to get your hands dirty, in the sense that you need to experiment a lot, you need to create things, you need to create movement, you need to take chances, you need to take risks, you need to hurt yourself, you need to fall flat on your face, you need to fail 20 times over, because that will create an entity that isn't just pseudo-scientific self-help nonsense. It will create a character that naturally communicates in a fashion that people find attractive. If I go to a job interview knowing that I'm capable of making sales because of my track record, not only through corporations, but through independence and through the effort and trial that I've placed myself through that nobody's taught me other than myself, I can sit at the end of that table. No, you can take me or leave me, but at the end of the day, it's your problem when you don't. And they will look at me and unconsciously be aware that I have a quality and I have of caliber that the other person who went to that job interview did not have, even though they've gone to university. Even though, I've been told what to do and written loads of words on a piece of paper. No, I've been out in the field and I've made it work. And you can take it or leave it, because I'm more than happy to leave because I'll be self-sufficient regardless. But if you want to make money together, let's make money together. Plain and simple. Job interview done. Who cares about my background and my GCSEs and all this shit? Doesn't matter. Money in, money out. You can make some money with me, full stop. This is me selling myself as the salesperson and the aggressive action I'm going to take in order to bring money to the company. It comes from self-sufficiency, competency in what you do. If I performed in acrobatics, right, I can have the delusion that I'm going to do a triple backflip and land it. But if I've not excelled in it and I've not performed the movement 100,000 million times and I'm not so confident, I'm not going to land it, am I? I can put forward the idea I am, but the moment I jump, my survival mechanism is going to kick in and say, wait a minute, you're not competent at this. You don't have the knowledge and understanding and the experience and the muscle memory of doing this. Bang, you hit your head, you embarrass yourself in front of everyone. But the person who is competent, who has hit themselves on the head 100 times before doing this, but has excelled 100 million times doing it correctly, is going to do it like it's nothing. And it's going to be so easy, so smooth, so confident that that woman's going to say, wow, that was cool, as opposed to, what an idiot, what a fool, what a jester, what a joker. Is there anything else I need to talk about? The more independent you are, the more self-belief, competence, and lack of commitment you have, the more attractive your bad boy energy will be. So let's talk about lack of commitment. Yeah? I'm honest. Every single time you get into some degree of a relationship, the conversation of trust comes about. And that lady will say to you, what, you don't trust me 100%? Nah. I trust you to such a great degree because you've never done me wrong. And once that's out of the window, then I can't trust you full stop. But I'm not going to allow myself to commit to you to a degree where you can use and abuse me. That's not the way I work, darling. And she can take it or leave it. We're not people pleasers. The moment we say, yeah, I trust you 100% her, she'll think, what a fucking idiot. I've been doing him dirty behind his back. Do you think she's not talking to other men? Come on. There's a reason why you're not looking through a phone. And the reason why you're not looking through a phone is because you don't have this relationship where you have to have access to each other's phone. Because that's a fucked up relationship, innit? Why'd you have to do that? There's no trust there, is there? So, come on. I'm putting you on game. I'm going to continue on with that commitment talk in the next video. With that being said, click like and subscribe. I'm signing out. Everyday Superpower, where we talk relationships, dating, body language, everything in between. I got a good one for you today. I'm gonna give you some real good game on this one. You will start to perceive this as you continue in your journey, learning about psychology and sociology and the interactions and dynamics between people, man and woman, two and one, groups and individuals, societies and global affairs, and so on and so forth. You'll start to see patterns emerge within the micro and the macro that represent each other in an esoteric, magical sense. You would say, as above, so below. So within, so without. There's a duality to everything, whether it be global, that will represent the micro and the so on and so forth, right? And we're not going to digress into some grand, spiel about the unseen. I'm going to talk to you about the reality of relationships and the reality of the nature of woman and how she perceives you, especially in relation to other people. And this is on an unconscious basis. Consciously, she'll think, ooh, he's disgusting, or oh my god, he's hot. That was a turn on for me. But she won't necessarily understand the biological root or the unconscious reasoning as to why she's come up to that conclusion. I mean, some may do, but I sort of believe that unless you research this information and understand it through the theoretics of such, it can be a little bit ambiguous to try work out yourself. But let me give you the game. So, she is always in a position of assessing where you stand in the pecking order. Okay? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say we're in an office. Yeah? Such as you might be. And if you're not in an office, you might be on a work site. If you're not in a work site, you might be... Where else do we go? Hell, I don't know. You're just in some workspace, full stop, and there's a lady there who you like, or there's a lady there, full stop, and she knows the team. You know the team. You've been in that team for some time. So has everybody else. Everybody knows each other. Okay? There is a pecking order between the men of dominance and submission. Okay? Some degree of that will be emphasized by the role within the business and organization that that individual upholds. So your manager might be able to play with you a little more so than your colleague or your subordinate. That's the way it goes. Yeah. From a body language standpoint, we could go into a deep depth, but your boss can come up to you and sun you and rub your head and put touch your shoulders and do all of this crazy stuff, whereas it's a little more uncomfortable for the subordinate to go and ruffle and be pally-pally with the boss in that manner, right? Because that's just a separation in the power dynamic. So we have to take into consideration that. But now, foundationally speaking, what comes prior to the workplace dynamic, the structural and corporate dynamic, is the man-to-man, human-to-human relationship. You as a man should only take so much shit that's necessary, okay? So if your boss is, just being your boss generally and being a little more loose in comparison to the other people you're working around with and you need the job, sometimes you just have to roll over and take it, right? But you as a man should also have boundaries, okay? I've had bosses who have said, come here, and slapped on their leg while looking at me whilst I've been new in the company. And I've looked at him and said, no, you can't, I don't care whether you're paying my bills or not. At some point there has to be a boundary that you're not willing to pass. And I'm not going to come over to you like a fucking dog because you're paying me so much an hour. No, my self-respect comes before that. And the thing is, when you say no, regardless of them being your boss or not, that's when this pecking order sort of gets re-emphasised and redialed in and reassessed by that individual at hand, right? That boss is going to look at you and think, oh shit, I shouldn't do that anymore. Oh shit, maybe even apologise. And if they get an apology, they are self-aware that it's wrong. They are self-aware that it could be escalated further. And even as your boss, they don't want that. That's where you need to be as a man. Now let's take that into position and put a woman there, right? Boss does that. And then you go to the boss as he disrespects you in that manner, suns you, and, it's disgusting to me. But this is what's happened, and I'll tell you more examples. So listen in. If you were to go forward to your boss, that woman already portrays him as your boss anyway. She's already got more of a soft spot for the boss because he is showcasing, the garnering of resources, probably gets paid more than you, might be more mature than you, has more rights in the organisation than you, more control than you. All around, he's probably more of an attractive man than you are in the eyes of her, and she might not understand why, but if she thinks, if I get it on with the boss, I've probably got more benefits in this company and in my life than if I get with him, who's the subordinate, who might look good. And this is why we can disagree with the black pill, because it's not all about looks, honestly. It's not all about looks. Looks don't play too much of a role in this situation, yeah? It's a matter of dynamic and masculinity and power and resource and so on and so forth. Now, you don't go up and you say no. She looks at you. Oh my God, I've never seen anybody do that before. He stood up to the boss. David and Goliath. He stood up to the boss. He stood up to someone I can't say no to. He doesn't care. Oh my God, he didn't submit to that display of power, and he's made the boss look stupid. Hey, if you read the 48 laws of power, you never outshine the master. Oh, I need to submit. No, we can break the rules. We can break the rules. Because we know if we get fired, we don't care, because we prepared for that in advance. Because one of the, I don't know where it positions itself, but one of my personal opinions is one of the laws and principles of masculinity is independence. Go struggle and live by yourself. Get out your parents' house. Be independent. Yes? If we want to be number one, we can't be grouped in. We need to be number one. We need to be independent. When it comes to being on a work site, people are going to crack jokes at each other. Banter. Banter is utilised and disguised as a means of identifying who we can bully and who we can't. Yes? All of these engagements and jokes possess a degree of truth. I don't believe in jokes. If you go and see a comedian, the best jokers around, and you listen to what they say, all of their jokes are based on some degree of truth. They don't just make something up and hover it. They create things to laugh about in regards to reality. Yes? If I say to you, all right, you ginger twat, oh my god, did you just get out of bed? Because you've done your hair that morning and done a Mohican or something, and you feel really proud about that, and now you've got some next guy pointing the finger and cracking jokes at you. You don't have to turn around and laugh in return. You don't have to. If you don't find it funny that somebody laughs at your appearance, you can say no. And that woman who perceives that will see you as bigger and better and more masculine and in a dominant position to that guy who's clearly testing you. We talk about shit tests when you go dating and, oh, this woman is testing me. Oh, bloody blah. I wish they didn't test me. That man's doing the exact same thing. That man who is trying to find your boundaries, and some are worse than others. Insecure men will do it more. Narcissistic men will do it more. Psychopathic, sociopathic man are going to find out whether you can be walked all over or not. And if you can't identify the signs and you can't read between the lines, you're going to flop it and flop it and flop it and flop it. And the women who are looking at you just think, I'm not too interested in him. Nah. But if you pass each test and when you set up strong boundaries, right? Not far boundaries, not loose boundaries where they're like flipping rubber bands where they just go, whoa. Yes, he can make fun of my mother. Yes, he can laugh at my child. Yes, he can make a joke about my appearance and this and that, even though he doesn't know me. I'm okay with that today. When you don't set up firm, close boundaries, you're going to be perceived as a spineless walkover. And like the reputation of the fearsome man who nobody wants to fuck with, you're going to unconsciously create this entity in the minds of others as an individual that people can use and abuse. It's uncomfortable to stand up for yourself when you're not used to doing it. But at some point you need to understand that you have to. And when you're engaging with someone and something just triggers you, whether you question, is this person disrespecting me? Whether you genuinely feel something, I didn't like that what he said there. You're going to have to say, nah, we can't do that. Because the moment they understand they can do that, they will continue doing that. Bro, if I fuck your mum and you don't do anything about it, I'll continue doing it. Yeah? But the moment you pull a gun out of me and say, don't flipping do that, I'm not coming back. Set a boundary, man. Otherwise people will take it above and beyond. And the thing is, these men think that this people-pleasing attitude and the fact you have to be friends with everyone and the fact that you have to be just like this loose, cool, calm guy, they think that's the way they need to be to impress a woman. No. You have to go against what society tells you. Look at everything society's done. Look at everything the media tells you need to be. Look at the way people are portrayed and think, wait a minute. Everybody is doing this. Would it be wrong for me to take the opposite route and go against the grain? Why shouldn't I do that? And the moment you start doing that, you start realizing it opens up a content of self and character and quality that nobody else has, because everyone's been told to go against that in this grand social engineering to reduce us to weak men. I'm putting you on some good game. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. You go into an office, there's going to be a man in there. Every man. But there's going to be one man to highlight the one who picks on a certain amount of people to different degrees. And for some strange reason, he doesn't pick on that one guy who stood up to him the first time he did it. I'm that guy. Not the guy who picks on people. Well, let's be real. I am no different to no one else. I am but man. There are going to be people in my life who I think I can kind of walk all over. Maybe I should take the piss out of him. That's fun. and certain men who I don't want to engage with, especially in regards to laughing and joking about each other, because I know inside of that man is an entity I don't want to ignite and deal with. We have to play it safe. Is that a pecking order thing? Hey, yes. If I'm fearful of the response I will get from someone for poking them, in the eyes of the woman, that's quite attractive to that man. But me, as someone who is playing this game, I would recommend you as an individual, don't insult no one. Go through life, chill out. If you've got some very close, good friends and you can crack jokes and get along with it and you've established a good, genuine relationship over years, then we can start, chilling out and hanging out to that degree with each other. But don't just think you can go and be pally-pally and poke people and do this and that, because you don't know who you're dealing with. Real talk. And that woman's going to look at you as somebody who doesn't have such degree of insecurity that you need to test other men like that. And she will see you as, even though you don't do that, you're not a victim. Because when it has come about that somebody's tested you, you've stonewalled it, you've put a barrier up, nope. Whether you've not responded or whether you have responded in a fashion that says, nope, can't do that, sorry. She's going to see you as a man who is strong. Yes, sturdy, reliable. The qualities she wants in the father figure for her children of tomorrow. Pay attention. Look around you. I'm signing out. That's some game. Click like and subscribe. Everyday Superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Yo, this one's for the men. I mean, arguably it could be for the women as well, but admire the sweaty pit for a second, people. Working hard, yes. Been on my feet all day, and I've come first and foremost to speak to you lot. Isn't that a blessing, right? This is off of the back of the video I've done in regards to being an aggressive man, not a involuntary explosive man, but aggressive in the sense of being in complete concentration and pursuit in what you need before what you want. And I'm going to talk about being a fearsome man. Let me tell you what I've written. I've said it's necessary. You have the capability of inciting some fear when needed. Yes, you're not going to get this game nowhere else. They're going to be like, oh, this is how you get the women. Oh. My brother. I learnt this lesson very, very early. Let me tell you something about me. When I was younger, I come from a particular environment where things were less than safe, yeah? I wasn't coddled and I wasn't brought up in an environment where I was bubble wrapped, yes? So being that child, moving on and engaging with other children, in schools, I started to develop independence and a character that was of my background, of my culture, of my roots, of how I was brought up. Not through choice, but through the situation. When I got into high school, we started to engage with children of other schools. Kids who didn't know you and kids who were slowly and surely starting to find independence through puberty and straying away from the relationship with the parent as to where they now have to make something of themselves. And I know not in the sense that you're a grown man and you have to find your own way, but in the sense that these very, very young men are now starting to become older as opposed to the children they once were. Not long after I joined, you run into so many, such as yourself. I think everyone has some degree of dealing with this, but this is where I first learned this lesson. At some point in the first year of me being there, some kids started picking on me and my friends, yeah? Now me, with the emotionally driven background I had, and knowing no better because I wasn't a conscious, intelligent being. I was a young boy. At one point, I had enough. And through an explosive act of response to these boys who were picking on me, I realised they don't do it no more. Did I take a blade and stab them? No. I didn't. But some can do that. So that's why you need to look after the kids and ensure that they have their head screwed on. Unfortunately, some parents don't know the signs, right? I was very fortunate to not take a route where I ended up in a bad place due to me fighting back when I got put against the wall. So, through understanding straight away that those who picked on me, first and foremost, weren't the big men they were portraying themselves out to be. And the moment that I actually stood up for myself, they shut the hell up. This is every bully, by the way. Every bully needs to test you to see where they stand in the pecking order. It comes from a position of insecurity, right? It comes from a position of insecurity. Because if you are understanding in oneself and confident and calm, what does it matter about the next person? But they need to prove to themselves and their frail ego that they are of worth. And in the man's world, that is to be above and pedestalized above the next man. And then the moment you as the bully poke the person who fights back, oh shit, I didn't expect that response. Most people don't give me that response. And you've proven to me that you're not frightened of the most frightening demeanor and masking I've applied to myself. When I say you need to be able to incite fear, this isn't from a position of you being the bully and having to incite fear in others. This is through being the recipient of somebody who pokes at you, garnering a response as to which they don't want to do it again. When the fox, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know how these animals interact, but I assume this is the manner of which. When the dog runs up to the hedgehog to bite the hedgehog, and the hedgehog raises its spikes in defense as a biological defensive mechanism, suddenly that dog doesn't or can't bite into that hedgehog no more because it's going to get pricked and it's going to get hurt. Even if that dog kills that hedgehog, right? The idea of hurting oneself in the process of going forth and doing whatever needed to be done to that hedgehog, it's not worth it no more. And I say that to apply that in the sense that if you stood up for yourself and got into a scuffle of sorts, and you didn't win the scuffle, but you stood up and fought for yourself, and they came back with a nick and some degree of harm, even though they've done it once, they know you're ready to fight back. Might not be the same next time. You need to apply this metaphorically across the board. Not purely physically, but through your business relationships, through your workplace relationships, through your family relationships. If you've got an uncle who, since you were young, always used to make snide remarks about who you are, what you look like, where you're going, and so forth. Not a personal story, but I say that purely as far as a family context, this might be the case. Who you're dating, what you're interested in. If you've got a man who has always done this from a position of being a bully, the moment you turn around and say, stop doing that, he will. And the thing is, this incitement of fear is a powerful political tool that political entities utilize to ensure people stay in line. And the way it works on this microcosm within the family, within the friendship group, within your reputation as a whole, people who know that you stood up to the next person, people who know that you might have had a fight in your past, people who know that in the world of business you're more than content being aggressive, you're more than happy to lose money on solicitors whether you win or not because you're up for the competition. People are going to stop playing with you. People are going to stop playing with you. People are going to stop playing with you. I say it like an order. If there's somebody you don't know who can't play with you like that, and they say something to you which could be taken as offensive or you perceive as a power play, they might be doing it unconsciously, right? Generally speaking, most of this is unconscious. The way they speak to you might be how they speak to their friends, but to you, they don't know you like that. So why are you calling me a name like that? Why are you laughing at my attire? Why are you making a joke about my shoes like that? Right? They say it once. Water for duck's back. I'm not laughing, but alright, yeah. What do you think? Do you know what I mean? I'll take it literally. I won't join the joke because we're not sitting here laughing about me like that. Because I don't know you like that. Second time they do it, they push you a little bit more. Expand the boundary, push the boundary. See how far they can go. Second time you say don't do that. Don't worry about it. Third time, there shouldn't be a third time. But the moment that gets to the third time, you need to look at them and say, no, we don't do that. Who do you think you are? You need to be able to incite fear. You need to be. Through reputation, yes, but as far as your background is concerned, and let me tell some personal stories. Where do we go? I know a guy. He was cunning. He was Machiavellian. He was a horrible, horrible man. And he was a very old man in comparison to me. 30 years my elder, right? But he was educated. He was military trained. He strategized. And he was a cold-blooded psychopath. And he used to try to threaten me each and every day through different means, trying to evoke some degree of emotional response. And the moment we had a discussion in regards to literature, and he found out I read so much of the same literature he did within the realms of military strategy and within the realms of the human brain, the psyche and psychology, he couldn't help 2 weeks down the line get stressed when I didn't respond to him in an emotional manner and says, oh, what you smiling at? I know the books you read, blah, blah, blah. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? Are you fearful through the fact that I can see through who you are and the mask you're portraying, and I'm not falling for it? You need to be able to incite fear because it works. Is it going to help you make friends? No, we're not utilizing it as a tool to make friends, but we're utilizing it as a tool to ensure we as men are safe. And if you're in the realm of dating and relationships and attraction, you need to be that man, because she doesn't want a spineless idiot who gets walked all over. As somebody who is more than happy to play my part in a submissive role, given that it allows things to run smooth and I'm not getting taken advantage of, I'm more than happy to play that position. And if you say, oh, I'm red-pilled, bro, I never do the submissive thing. Bro, trust me, whether you like it or not, there's a duality, yin and yang dynamic to who you are. You can't be in pimp position 24 hours a day. If you're wanting to actually strive for success, at some point you need to cater for the people through one way or another. You need to put yourself in the salesman position, in the trick position, in order to appease the system. Yes? I'm so red-pilled, I'm a pimp. Yeah, alright, but the platform you use is YouTube, so someone's pimping you and making advertisement revenue off of your content and your product. Do you see this game? Nobody's up there at the top, it's dynamic. YouTube gives you a telling off if you say the wrong thing, or you promote the wrong product, or you break their rules. They incite fear in those who are supposedly fearless by saying, we'll take you off of the platform, we'll stop you having a voice, blah, 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 right? You think, well, YouTube aren't these big bullies, and YouTube are, perceived as these powerful Goliath entities. But no, they still have a means of utilizing and inciting fear and giving you a slap on the wrist first and foremost before kicking your ass out of the door if they deem necessary. This is where you need to be. Of course. Of course. The moment you stand up to your uncle who's always taking the piss and you say, no, we don't play them games no more. Especially if you're in front of other people, they're going to see you and say, whoa. He stood up. I don't see that often because I live in a society where a man stands up for himself. That's inappropriate. That's aggressive. That's rude. Do you see? You will be ridiculed outside of your social communication, they'll run 5 miles away and then ridicule you, right? They won't do it to your face. Never do it to your face. Never do it around you. Never do it where it will get back to you. But they'll run 5 miles away and start ridiculing you out of fear. Because you make them feel insecure via the fact you stand up for yourself and they don't and they can't. And they deem it inappropriate and feel validated by the fact that they say, you're toxic. You're so toxic for standing up for yourself and looking after yourself. Oh my God, can you believe he kicked that guy in the head to look after his children, to protect his children? I can't believe it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not advocating for violence, but I'm saying you need to be able to incite the potential and the possibility of putting someone in their place when needs be. Your woman is, I'm not saying incite fear in your lady, but she needs to understand there is a protocol you must abide by, that when she pushes a boundary too far in the wrong direction, you have to say, no, we don't do that, love. You're going to have to come back here in this comfortable boundary. We're not pushing them further and further. We're not doing that. We don't play these games. I will incite fear in the way that I will walk out of this relationship and leave you. Goodbye. You now have to find someone who you do have to push the boundaries, who you can push the boundaries with. Some soft, spineless slug of a man who you don't end up respecting because he allows that to happen. I'm putting you on game. Click like and subscribe. Peace.